Welcome to the EVERBLACK podcast. On this episode, we are joined by Andy LaPlegua from Combichrist, who are about to drop their new album, One Fire, on June 7. Now, everyone who knows me knows I'm a massive Combi fan, so getting the chance to talk to Andy was definitely a highlight for me. I found him to be really honest and happy to talk about, of course, the new album, the evolution of Combichrist, his relationship with his mate Joe Letz, his views on controversies surrounding, misunderstandings of lyrics, and he also dropped some news about a possible Australian tour, which I'm super pumped for, as I've seen them 3 times, and each time, they are my favourite live band on the planet. I don't think anything touches them. They are just brutal live, and it doesn't have to be death metal to be brutal. They're just on a totally different level, and I love it. So if you like things heavy, make sure you check out the new album One Fire on June 7th. Pre-orders are up now, and you can preview the singles. They've just released the new video for the track Understand, and that's pretty awesome too. All right, before we go into the interview with Andy, we have to mention that this episode is brought to you by Blacklight Art and Design, who are our go-to for all our screen printing needs. They've done all our shirts and hats for EVERBLACK Media. They've got such a quick turnaround. I highly recommend checking them out. www.blacklightad.com.au. The show is also brought to you by our good friends at RW Promotion, who are the best in the biz when it comes to stickers, flyers, banners, badges, and all other promo you need for your band or business. Go check them out at www.rwpromotion.com.au. Also want to give a shout out to our buddies at Lumberpunks Axe Throwing Club, who now have 2 venues in Queensland, one in Miami on the Gold Coast and the other in West End in Brisbane. Lumberpunks Axe Throwing Club is the perfect destination for date nights, bucks nights, birthday parties, or just hanging out with your mates. All sessions are 1.5 hours in length and comprise of a safety induction, instruction on tactical tomahawks and hatchets, and then competitive play. Now, you'll receive 10% off your session when quoting EVERBLACK in your booking notes. Terms and conditions apply. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and our EVERBLACK podcast through iTunes and Spreaker. Check us out on the social medias as well. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and of course, the website www.everblackmedia.com. All right, here is my interview with Andy from Combichrist. One Fire is out June 7. Go pre-order it now. It's out through Out of Line Music. Horns high.
Andy, it's great to finally talk to you on the show, man. I'm actually a really big Combichrist fan, so it actually means a lot that you're taking the time to hang out with us today.
Oh, no problem, man. So are you... I can't never remember if you're ahead of me or after me. I can't really remember. All I know is that I lose one day going either way.
Yeah. You're behind, man. I'm a future traveler. It's exactly. 6 a.m. on Thursday.
So I'm talking into the future.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'll call you for lottery numbers next time.
Hey, man. I'm trying to play that game myself right now. Oh, dude. Oh, man. Well, of course, the new Combichrist album, One Fire, comes out in June, but we've had a taste of it with the single Hate Like Me, which is just a banger of a track, man. Lyrically, it seems to be about someone who's maybe sold out on themselves or gone soft, if you'd say.
It's funny because it's I got a lot of shit for it too, because it's like these days and age, you say hate is such a bad word now,
Yeah.
But it's the song is really, it's just really simple. It's just a young, like if you saw the cover, it's just like these young punk rockers in the street fighting cops and whatever, and that used to be me, so it's kind of just like young me singing about myself, really. I sat on the couch one day and I was just kind of chilling, like Al Bundy style, handing you pen, popcorn and beer and watching TV, and so comfortable. And I just like, man, if that punk kid would have seen me right now, he would have kicked my ass, So that was kind of the initial idea for it. I mean, and then and kind of developed while I was writing, I guess, that it became not so black and white, but still, that's where it started.
And but I mean, in general though, you've never held back lyrically, that's for sure. And you know, you don't
That
seem
is
to
true.
censor yourself ever. That's
No,
beautiful.
why should I, man? You know, like, you think, people will make up shit anyway. Like
Mm.
about you as a person or whatnot. And I grew up as a horror movie fan. I grew up listening to bands like Alice Cooper and stuff like that as a kid, and then getting into punk in the early 80s, and it was like everything that I ever listened to had so much expression behind it. Either it was storytelling, like horror rock stuff, when you watch horror movies, I mean, none of this shit is real. So when I kind of went in to do music, I kind of tried to leave political things aside, but have personal opinions kind of shine through a little bit, just social, you know documentary, if you put it that way, or like a social, you know a bystander, like kind of see what's, documenting and see what's going on in the world, but without trying to be political about it. And then I just been telling stories, man. And it's like, if I always thought if people can do it in movies, I can do it too.
Absolutely, man. But is there on the album? Do you think there's a few tracks that might ruffle a few feathers, piss people off?
No, I don't think so. No, not really, man. Like, I think this album is kind of tame on the provoking side of things. Like, and honestly, the last few albums in general, I haven't really gone that far. At least not. I don't want to say that I've gone so far to provoke people, but on purpose, at least.
Yeah.
It's kind of been more personal a little bit. A little bit. I know. I don't know what to say, really. It's a kind of took a little different direction and kind of wrote a little bit more from my heart rather than stories.
I kind of felt that when Making Monsters came out. Like that's my favorite Combi album. That's a very significant album for me, and I kind of feel like there's stuff on there that maybe is pretty personal, and from then on you've maybe thrown that angle in. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, like in general, it's only like the first two. Well, I don't count the first album. I don't count Joe of Guns because it doesn't really have much lyrics. But it's only like Everybody Hates You and What the Fuck Is Wrong with You People that really had that horror movie character. Yeah. And that's I'm still get shit for those two albums. But I mean, every other album since, I feel, has been way more of a personal journey, really. I mean, there's been things where I've been direct response to people accusing me of things. So, when I had a bunch of people saying that I, woman hater and all of those kind of stuff, those kind of things. And of course you have to respond with something and provoke them a little bit, but that's just how it goes.
That's right, man. I mean, people will always talk shit about stuff they don't understand. So,
yeah,
it's like Cannibal Corpse have been getting shit for years. Slayer.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know how many times I've heard I'm a racist woman hater or whatever, and especially because of Throat Full of Glass video, when it's in fact there's African American female that produced the video. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, but it's like, in one way, when you say that, they push you even further into a corner and go like, oh yeah, it's like saying I have a black friend, but it's not like that at all. Like,
no,
everybody's equal in my eyes and equally shitty and equally good. So, it's just I kind of have to ignore what people are saying and just keep doing my thing. And I know better than anyone else who I am and what I stand for,
Absolutely. Well, of course, with the new album, actually the last few albums, I was going to say, seems a little bit more guitar driven than when you first began, and you've still kept the core sound of Combichrist, but do you think the new album pushes those boundaries a bit more? What can we expect?
I I kind of assume that everybody have heard the album, right? Because it's done, so it's like I know how it sounds. So I keep forgetting that people haven't heard it.
I'm
but,
banging.
So, yeah, no, I feel like I don't ever want to say that I felt like I went too far on the previous album, but it was kind of a journey that I had to take. Like I was always pushing the envelope. I was always pushing my sound to develop it. And I feel like this album kind of wraps everything up in one way. I feel like the last album or the previous album, I felt the previous album was like as far as I wanted to go for pushing the rock sound.
Mm-hmm.
And then I feel like on this album, I kind of went back and I took all my favorite parts from every single album I've done, and I kind of put it together and wrapped it up. Like, it's a lot more electronic. There's really not a whole lot of guitars in this album at all, to be honest. I Hate Like Me and Broken United are the only like 2 songs that comes to mind that are actually more of a rock songs to me. The rest of the album is a lot more electronic, and I don't know, but with still having the feel of all the stuff I've done over the last few albums.
Oh man, I can't wait to hear this thing. It's gonna be if it's anything like the single, man, it's gonna be unreal. But of course, you seem like you're someone that's always constantly evolving as a musician and as a songwriter. It's evident throughout your whole career. But do you have a routine that you stick to? Like they say that Prince used to get up in the morning and he'd write a song a day. Sit at the piano, just do it. Do you have a routine like that to push yourself?
No, my routine is for music is try to stay away from music.
Oh, okay.
It's like it's kind of like try to stay away from listening to music that I might want to make, because it keeps me objective, because like there's nothing is truly unique or original. It's kind of like everything you do in life or with music, it's like it's taken from something that you heard, or it's anybody you might combine it in a new way, but it's all been done before. So the less that I hear on a daily basis, the more I have to be creative to write. And it's hard this way, man, because it's like if you're completely out of the loop of what's going on in the world with music, it's like you kind of have to like invent your inspirations, you know what I mean? So, and that's how it always kind of goes in different directions. Like I try to listen to strictly to music that I would never release myself.
What give us an example?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to say that I wouldn't release myself, but I wouldn't do it with Combichrist at least. Like I listen to a lot of acoustic music, and like I listen to like old jazz and classical music and stuff like that, like stuff like that might impact me on an emotional level or something, but not really musically.
Oh shit, that's really interesting to hear, man, considering how aggressive Combichrist can be. That's it's really interesting
somewhere.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Do you have a vault though? Do you have like a hard drive where you've just got songs and songs and songs that you've worked on over the years that maybe see the light of day one day?
I do, and most of the stuff that is not released is stuff that I've written that is more like the stuff that I listen to. Like I do write a lot of other types of music that I never released, but it's just kind of like my own way to channel it, to get it out of my system. So, and then it ends up somewhere. Sometimes I've accidentally deleted stuff, and I try to find it, and then I'll find like the first demo version of it, then you know what I mean. So I'm trying my best to kind of to organize it and save it somewhere, but it might end up being released one day. Who knows? But for now, it's kind of like you say, in the vault.
Well, hopefully we get to hear it one day. What about you mentioning acoustic stuff? I mean, are you looking at doing like and you've touched upon it before, but is it something you do,
Yeah.
like an album?
I mean, I have done a couple of albums that, well, not released, but I have recorded a couple of albums that is still in the vault. And now I'm going to start using that word since that's what you said. So there's still a bunch of unreleased stuff like that. I mean, like Evil and Me, but like kind of that direction. It's but it's like I kind of have a band name for it, but that everything that kind of direction will go under a certain name, but in a studio. But I have no idea if I will ever release it or when that would be, or if I would re-record it or just record it as it is. I don't know.
Well, that's something I'd definitely love to hear more of from you as well. So if you do, release it,
if I find if I find some extra spare time to go through it,
That's the magic word, isn't it? Time. Yeah. But of course, man, I have seen you every time you've toured down here in Australia, and I still think that, hands down, no shit, I honestly think that Combichrist is the best live band on the planet, and I'll fight people over that. I don't give a shit. I think you guys are just incredible. Because mainly for me, it taught me, watching you guys years ago, a lot about performance and stage presence and engaging the crowd. That's something that helped me evolve as a frontman myself. Where did that come from you?
The first show I ever went to was I actually played the first concert that I ever went to. That's how long I've been doing music. I don't know. Like I always just wanted to push myself. When I was a kid, it was like you had to stand out. It was like we're in a punk rock scene and and in the hardcore scene. To stand out and to stand out and be respected as a new band, a new artist, especially since we were so young, we just had to go up there and just kill every other band. That was the only option. There was no other option. He's like, you see somebody doing really well, you just had to go and do better.
Yeah.
And it was always about just pushing yourself. And it was like, if you walk off stage and you don't feel like you're dying, you didn't do your job. That's always how I looked at it. It's like, if I walk off stage and I can talk to somebody immediately, I have not done my job.
Well, you definitely did your job, because I saw you, I think it was the first time, and you came off stage and I came up and said hello and you couldn't talk. You just hated it. And so I was like, okay, well, he definitely did his job. So
yeah, no, but it's you just kind of have to push yourself and just do what you do best, and then just do it even a little better. And I think that's always been my mentality. And everybody ever played with me, in my band, that's all I ever expected. It's like new band members, I go, I don't expect you to do nothing but your best. And if that's not good enough, then I have to get another band member.
Yeah. Well, of course, talking about band members, man, last year I spoke to Joe when he was down here, and I know he left the band recently on good terms by the sounds of things. How do you feel about moving on without him behind you?
I feel actually I don't want to be mean, I don't want it to sound mean either, but it's actually really refreshing, because we're like siblings, we've been in the band for such a long time, and we also fight like siblings, and it's just with new people around me, it's kind of refreshing in a way that, like, I think about things a little differently. Over the years, I kind of let Joe do what Joe does, not taking so much charge of his part of the band or performance or something. I kind of let him do, his own little Joe Letz show. So now I'm kind of, back in the director's chair in one way when it comes to the live shows too. So I kind of looking at things a little differently. I feel there's a little bit more pressure on me, but at the same time, that pressure is good. It motivates me. It's like a little new spark. And and Joe never recorded with me. He was only playing with me live. So in the studio, it really didn't change at all.
There's still a lot of love there though between you guys as brothers. From what I could see.
And the thing is like we probably talk more now than when we did when he was still in the band. Just because you're taking everything for granted, or friendship and everything. And now that he's not in the band, we talk about shit that matters. Not bickering about stupid band details, and we actually talk about stuff that is important.
That's awesome. And you planning on coming back to Australia? Is that on the cards?
I'm not 100% sure if I should be saying this, but I am pretty sure we are coming in the fall.
Excellent. That's your fall, or no? Wait, we're on our fall now. So.
Oh yeah. So like September, October. No, it's just there's us from here, and then we're going out with Dark Cell.
Yes, Jesse and the boys, and Matt. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I know those guys. So
yeah, we have some history, and they're good dudes, and we talked about it so many times. Finally, we're kind of getting this together. So we are so it'll be 4 shows, I think.
Yeah, awesome, man. I'll be at the Brisbane one for sure. But dude, I really appreciate you taking the time to hang out on the show, and it really means a lot that you did. All the best with the new album, and hopefully soon we'll see you guys down here.
Perfect, man. Sounds good to me. Can't wait to come back. Take it easy.
Thanks, man.